All right, so I'm just going to give you the basics of how to start this project. So the first thing you can see on the example visual is that there is a red line separated in half, and obviously this is separated in half over here. Now the cool thing about the place that you have to, that's blank, that you have to redraw it on, is that over here it's also separated one more time. So you should go ahead, find the middle, and separate it, and draw the line. Find the middle and draw the line so that you have the same T cross area over here. That's going to help you get your outside of your bulb better. And the proportions correct. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go in there and you're going to see what are some areas that I can direct the viewer when they're looking. So this is a round sphere. So I can see lines rounding. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come on here and I'm going to put some of those round lines so that I can give myself the right directions when I'm doing my blending. Then the next thing I'm going to do is see, do I have any shapes in here? So this one's good because I actually have real shapes that I can try to mimic. So I come over here. Now you guys are going to do it much lighter than me. I'm doing it darker so it can show up on the camera, but you're going to do it much lighter because we don't actually want to see the charcoal under, or the pencil underneath the charcoal. So I'm just kind of putting some of that in there so I have some idea of where to go. Now you're going to have a couple tools. So you're going to have this vine charcoal, which is nice and light and it smears really nicely, so it blends. This is your compressed charcoal pencil. So keep it a little bit more sharpened than what I have here. But you're going to always start with your vine charcoal because that is easier to get your medium light values in. So you're going to want to go in and get your medium light values. Then on top of that, you can come in with this one because this one it doesn't blend and smear as easy, and it doesn't erase as easy. So I'm going to come in here with this vine charcoal and I'm going to find where my shapes are. So I can see that this kind of goes like up here. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kind of follow some of these lines. Just worry about that shape. Now I know it gets kind of darkened here. So I'm just going to kind of fill this in, and I'm going to smear it in that same direction in just a minute. See how it's dark here? And then there's just some of these coming this way, right? So I'll stop right away and take a paper towel, wrap it around my finger, and smear that in a little bit there. And just kind of, I have to really make sure I'm going in the direction that the sphere is rounding, right? So do you see how that vine charcoal got really, really light? So I will go in and put a second layer on top of that later, but right now I'm just getting my base outlines and my base values on there. So now that's great. So now I'm going to come on here and I'm going to do just a little bit of this tree. So I know that this tree, so remember this comes out darker, but as soon as I rub it in, it's going to be much lighter, right? So I'm just kind of giving myself some of these. All right, I know that this is all gonna probably be shaded in. I know that this is pretty much a line like this, right? And then this is all kind of nice and dark down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shade all that in, because I know once I blend this, it's going to get lighter, right? So again, I'm just kind of mapping things out. See how I push these back up to match the curve that I started from up here? So I don't need everything perfect right now. I'm kind of just mapping it out just to see where I need things and where I don't need things. Then I'm gonna go and grab this again, and I'm going to go back in. Again, it gets nice and soft and light, and this is just my base for myself to get started. Okay. This might become too big, so you should get a little blending stick like this if you need more precise, right? So sometimes when you wrap it around your finger, it's not going to get so into tiny little details. So I'm just putting my base on, right? And then I'm going to come down here and I see that this is filled in. So I'm going to fill it in. Again, always with this fine charcoal first. I see a couple shapes down here, kind of going in this direction, right? So I'm just going to come down here and blend that in. Again, I'm going in the direction of the sphere. This kind of all stays here, right? So now I just have this kind of middle value there, not a lot of darks. And I can go back in and erase any whites if I need my whites back. So now I'm going to go with this compressed charcoal pencil, and now I'm going to go get my blacks in there. See how nice and black that is, right? And so I know closer to this hook is going to be nice and dark. So now I'm doing my second layer. So now I'm going to slow down. I'm trying to do it fast for you guys, but if I were you, now is when I would slow down and really kind of pay attention and try to control. So see how I can get lighter by doing these strokes lighter, and then I can press really, really dark, right? So, but I don't want to get rid of all this light that I did with the vine charcoal. So I just put that in there. Go with this, get myself a nice little edge. Now I gently push these out a little bit. Right? So the black stays and it blends, just not as much, right? So I'm going to go, I know that on this tree, this side of the tree is darker. So I'm going to go in there with this pencil. And you guys will slow down and do it a little bit more detailed. I'm just trying to get you the basics, okay? So I know that this is in here as well. I don't want to get rid of all my lights though, right? I know that this is kind of, I can see an outline over here, and behind it, it gets nice and dark, right? And then even down here, just a little bit, it's a little bit darker. So everything's starting to pop out now a little bit more. So now I can go in there with my blending stick and kind of blend that the way I want it to. It still kind of folds up like that, curves up, right? Now, I would keep working on this, but you're getting the point of how I would build slowly, okay? Now, I love these erasers because they have little points, and then I can go in there and make things that I didn't have before. So if I needed to point an edge, right, I can go back in here. I can put some of these back up this way, right? Get this little glare. This is pretty bright glare for a while there, right? So I can come in and get these back, clean up those edges. I can't really touch it because I don't want to smear it. Some of these can go down there. Maybe this side is too dark, so I can take a kneaded eraser here, and these are really cool because you just kind of find a clean area. And then I'm not gonna, but watch what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna tap, 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 and I can get this side a little bit lighter without erasing all of it. And so then you can get some lines and everything with your eraser. So remember, your eraser is just as important. Now, obviously, I would go back in there and I'd keep building and building, and you know, I'd add down here, and this is probably needs to be a little bit darker. But remember, I'm not going to go and just put it all solid colors. I like to, with charcoal, I like to kind of put it in and then rub it around, and then I can always add darker, but it's kind of hard sometimes to take away. But you know, if you want to, you really can take away with this one. It's harder to take away with this one. All right, so that will help you just get started. Good luck.